My guest today is Reagan Cook. Reagan is an accounting subject matter expert at TaxBit, which is an industry-leading tax and accounting compliance solution for the digital economy. We'll learn all about this today. Welcome to the show, Reagan.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It is a pleasure. Reagan, let's do what we do at the beginning of the show. It would be cool if you could please introduce yourself. Love to hear some of your personal and professional backstory. Yeah, what have you been doing in the lead up to joining the team at TaxBit?
Yeah, so I am originally from Indiana. I grew up there, I went to school there, and I actually swam there. I did business school at Indiana University. I started in public accounting and then spent time at a large public company. Out of school, got my CPA license, and I did a COVID move out west to Utah. So I'm located in Salt Lake City, Utah right now. Wanted to enjoy the mountains and made a career transition into the crypto space. Wanted to pair that accounting and finance background with my personal interest in crypto. So found TaxBit, and I've been here for the past 3 years.
Fantastic. All right, Reagan, well, you better explain to us a little bit about what TaxBit is. I mean, from the name and, kind of a tax and compliance solution, I think people can get a general idea. But yeah, give us the kind of the big vision overview, if you like, of what TaxBit is, and then we'll talk about who it's for and how it can help and all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So while the name is TaxBit, we offer more than tax solutions. So we are a software solution that is building accounting and reporting solutions for all things tax and accounting. So if you think about any any company in the space transacting in crypto or digital assets in general, we build solutions to, create more efficient back office processes and to modernize some of that reporting and accounting that companies still need to do in this new Web3 era.
Yeah, absolutely. And just talk through some of the different, I don't know how you would phrase it, like clients or customer segments, the different kind of target markets, different parts of the industry that can potentially use your products and services.
Yeah, absolutely. So, TaxBit originally started, to give a little bit of history, TaxBit was originally founded and we originally built a consumer platform. So if you think about individual taxpayers and their need to report on all of their crypto transactions and disposals and all that good stuff, we were originally a consumer platform for individual taxpayers. Over the past couple of years, we've transitioned to be entirely enterprise focused. So some of our customers today include PayPal, Marathon, Google, and Fidelity. So any company or institution transacting in crypto is and can be a client of ours. So our clients range from, early stage adopters to the crypto space. So Google, for example, there's lots of large public companies dabbling in the crypto space, to PayPal, to the miners, specifically in the mining space, our solutions are resonating very well. So that's one category of, that's one market segment that's resonating very well as of very recently. So.
Yeah, so that's fascinating. So if you're talking about these I guess big enterprises, some of the big mining companies, Marathon, did you say? Yeah, and
Yep.
they're obviously, I think they're the biggest North American mining companies. Probably makes them one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Bitcoin mining public company wise,
Yeah.
certainly. And the IRS, that's amazing. So maybe just I don't know if you can kind of share any more light in terms of what you would kind of build as I guess like a bespoke solution for the IRS and B, Marathon. Just to would give us a sense of what you can do.
Yeah. So the same data challenge exists, whether it's an individual taxpayer or a Marathon. So the same data challenges exist, and that is aggregating transaction data across different blockchains, centralized exchanges, for anyone transacting in crypto, whether you're an individual or an enterprise, you probably see that the data format looks different across these different data sources that you're transacting on. So that's a value proposition number one, is we have the ability from the integrations that we've built to aggregate transaction data and standardize it into one centralized platform. So that theme exists for the IRS doing an audit on an individual taxpayer, or Marathon wanting to report on all of their rewards for the period. That aggregation of data in real time, and then the ability to price and track that data as the prices change over time, is the common theme here that we are addressing, whether it's the IRS or some of these enterprise grade clients. And then on top of that, to layer in the tax and accounting component, is doing those calculations at scale. So that's really the bulk of what TaxBit was founded on. And that was our mission, to enable the digital economy with platforms that can do these calculations at scale. And, we can instill trust in the solution users. So.
Yeah, and I'm sure, Regan, you kind of alluded to it a little bit already, but there would be, in terms of, digital assets and tracking digital asset transactions, I'm sure there are some unique accounting challenges that are specific to, I guess, crypto, broadly speaking, right?
Yep. Yeah, in terms of challenges with crypto specifically, so my background before, my time at TaxBit, I was in a position, I was involved with the external reporting and the month-end close at a large public company. And, there's different accounting challenges everywhere, but one of them that's unique to crypto, one very specific thing is this price volatility. And then what the guidance has been. And then as of lately, there's been a transition to new guidance based off of the FASB's most recent accounting updates. So a couple different components here. We can jump right into the FASB's accounting updates if that's where we want to take this. But specifically in the crypto accounting space, the accounting guidance as of about a year ago was not necessarily reflective of the economic realities. So again, we can jump right in here. But for example, MicroStrategy, large public company holding lots of crypto on their balance sheet, they have been recording millions of dollars in impairment losses each quarter for the past few years. And so, or since they've held Bitcoin. And so that has been an accounting challenge that is now being addressed with this updated accounting guidance as of, the past year. So that's accounting issue that's unique to crypto number one, that, in terms of regulators and compliance, the thought leaders in the space are putting their heads together to come up with what is the most user-friendly, realistic, and reflective of economic reality accounting guidance, so that, these companies can continue to grow and build in the space, and also operate from a back office perspective in a way that makes sense and is actually useful to the, financial reporting users.
Yeah. Thank you, Regan. Another one, I suppose, because you mentioned a Marathon, and you mentioned the, I guess, the volatility in terms of the prices of any given digital asset at any one time. Crypto, of course, famously volatile. So if you're like a huge Bitcoin mining company such as Marathon, then there's a lot that would go into. I mean, the mind boggles at the kind of the calculations that they're having to make in terms of how profitable their Bitcoin mining operation can be at on any given day versus how many Bitcoin they have, whether they're buying or selling their Bitcoin, and then how they're kind of reconciling all of this. It's be a unique challenge, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you think about any miner in the space specifically, they might be receiving, thousands of microtransactions that represent rewards And we see transaction volumes in the thousands per month. We see transaction volumes in the millions per month. And if you think about it from a technical perspective, whether this is for corporate tax or accounting that needs to be done every month, each of those individual lots or transactions received, sent, traded, all of that information needs to be tracked at the individual lot level. So, what was the price of that Bitcoin when I received the reward? And then what is the value of it a month later when I'm holding it? Or what is the value of it when I sell it or, use that Bitcoin that's an expense maybe a year later? I need to be tracking all of that individual detail over time and at the point in time when I receive it and or dispose of it. So those are unique challenges to crypto. And you can imagine in this space with all of the different inputs and places that you can transact and with the price volatility, that's a lot of information to track at scale. So
You're not wrong. It is indeed a lot of information to track. Regan, we should just make clear. Obviously, you're in the US. You're a US company. Do you specifically serve US clients?
we actually work with companies all over the globe. So we have recently expanded on the international front. We have people in Dubai, Europe. We're expanding into Latin America. So, like I mentioned in the beginning, the challenges that we are addressing for the, the digital economy are global issues and challenges. And so with the infrastructure in place that we have the ability to make slight product adjustments or maybe slight calculation adjustments to, that align with each of these different locations, compliance requirements, regulation, all the above. So,
yeah, I mean, obviously that was going to be my next question, I suppose, that's such a challenge in itself, just dealing with what is a reasonably fragmented global jurisdictional environment, and obviously different countries are much more positive or negative towards digital assets, and you'd hope that we will slowly figure this out, perhaps over the next decade. But yeah, it's been a challenge so far to get this. It's kind of a paradox to have a global decentralized distributed blockchain system that in theory anyone can access and use permissionlessly, but at the same time it's complicated
yeah,
from a regulatory
absolutely.
perspective. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. All right. Well, what would you say, I suppose, to people that are considering looking at using TaxBit and some of your solutions? Why would you say come and look at what we have to offer?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, I've been at TaxBit now for 3 years, and some of the early stage clients that we worked with, they came to us maybe in a time of need, and then they're cleaning up accounting and reporting and all of the calculations that had been done manually in spreadsheets over the past few years. And, that's totally doable. And we're happy to work with all of these different companies. And so, what I would say to companies now, and we're seeing more and more of this as the use cases become more sophisticated, is companies are wanting to get ahead and lay down the right plumbing, if you will, so that as they grow and scale in their use cases and understand how the technology works more and how their business can incorporate, these digital asset projects into what they're doing, we're seeing more and more companies come to us at an earlier stage wanting to get ahead of things before they end up in a pile of manual work to reconcile and clean up years after the fact. So what I would say to anyone listening, whether you're an individual taxpayer or you're at a company and you're newer to crypto or you're newer at the company and you're trying to understand how the accounting and the reporting all works, what I would recommend is getting ahead of it. And the other thing that was really exciting to me when I started at TaxBit is I was actually hired as a subject matter expert. I am a CPA, but I had no professional crypto background prior to my time at TaxBit. And I said, I'm applying for this role as a subject matter expert, but I don't have this professional background. And this was really, really cool to hear. At the time, they said, there are no subject matter experts right now. We are building them homegrown. So TaxBit took the approach of we're going to go out and hire CPAs, and this is something that we can all learn. And so that's the second part to this is get ahead of it sooner rather than later. The manual spreadsheets will literally blow up your computer over time, and those problems will only grow. And number two is, there's so many people that are still new to the space and the use cases are still constantly evolving. So we should all be, staying educated and understanding these nuances because the devil is in the details and, we can learn anything that we want to. And so I think, I heard this I was at Bitcoin Nashville a couple weeks ago, and one of the panelists was talking about how important building a network is so that we can all learn together. And that relates to what I'm saying in the sense that, staying educated and staying hungry to learn in the space is really, really important because the chances are, all these different companies are dealing with the same exact challenges. So that learning component and networking component is really important here.
Yeah, yeah. I'd be curious, Regan, there's probably a lot of CPAs out there, right? In America, who knows, millions? There's a lot, right?
Yeah.
But what do you think is going to happen to, let's just say, the business and practice of accounting, just to use, and I use that in the broadest term possible. When I'm thinking about, with the sudden wave of AI and how that impacts accounting, crypto and AI seems to go together. AI and accounting seems to go together as well. Do you think that's fair?
I think that's totally fair. And like any emerging technology, it's important for individuals in the respective professions to understand, that this technology exists first and foremost, and the career path and the roles will change. I mean, I actually listened this morning to a Wall Street Journal podcast, and they talked about the ban of AI in classrooms, and it's kind of up to different universities and classrooms and teachers to decide that. And it was interesting hearing the different perspectives. And one of the perspectives was a teacher banned AI in the classroom, and the flip side of that was, well, don't you worry that your students won't understand how to use the technology. And the argument there was, well, I want my students to understand how to write an email and then let the AI do it after that. And so I think we're in this interesting wave where we have lots of professionals who understand how to do things completely manually, which is a really great thing when you think about the details in building software solutions to do these calculations at scale. But if you don't have the right education or knowledge base in place to then go and use that software solution, you're almost going in blind. And so I imagine there will be an intersection between AI and blockchain. And I hope that there is for the profession. I think some of the tasks involved with accounting they're not always the most glamorous and fun. And there's so much opportunity to automate that and allow people to spend more time on, thinking and, meaningful tasks to grow the business. And I think those can be really exciting things. But at the core of it, and as a first step, it is really important to understand what should this be, because at a greater scale, and if I'm thinking big picture here, whether it's crypto or not crypto, my background is working at a large pharma company. Whether it's big pharma or crypto or any other company, it's important to have financial statements that we can all rely on. If you think about individual investors, so this is a bigger system thing here. So we need accurate and reliable information for the broader population to make informed decisions. And I think that scrutiny around detail and accuracy, that won't go away, but how we get there will become more efficient over time. And that's what TaxBit is doing, is a part of, that financial transformation that, that's a big buzzword right now in companies. So we are part of that. That being said, I take my role seriously here in making sure that that is done correctly, because there's so much technology right now being built. And, the accuracy component is the most critical in my mind.
Yeah, very, very well articulated. Thank you, Reagan. All right, well, just finishing off this part of the podcast, then, Reagan, anything that you can share in terms of, I guess what you guys are building, anything coming next at TaxBit, how you see the future, what is going to be needed in the future, just anything like that. And of course, also tell people, where they can go, what they should do if they do want to learn more and potentially engage with your services.
Yeah. So in terms of, the future for TaxBit, right now, if you think about, there's legacy ERP solutions that exist. Lots of companies use QuickBooks, NetSuite, Xero, and lots of companies are doing their information reporting manually. So from an enterprise perspective, how you can think about TaxBit is the go-to for all things tax and accounting and reporting for any crypto activity. And, over the years, we've continued to iterate based off of, accounting guidance updates. We'll continue to build out, IFRS support, and we're expanding globally. And on the information reporting front, we're keeping a close pulse on the regulatory clarity that we're seeing. And we'll continue to iterate on the relevant forms that companies need. So how listeners right now can think about TaxBit is we take our role seriously in terms of being thought leaders and staying current with all of the most, up-to-date regulation and compliance, and, building that into our different solutions.
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you, Reagan. And of course, link is in the show notes, folks. But yeah, the website is simply taxbit.com. All right, Reagan, it is time to finish off the podcast, and we're going to do that by running you through the very famous crypto conversation hot take round. Are you up for it?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do this, Reagan. I'm just going to run some questions at you. Just want you to give me your honest hot take style answers, if you like. Question one for you is, where would you say that you sit on the Bitcoin maximalist to multi-chain opportunist spectrum?
Where I sit is choose your own journey on that front.
Yeah, very, very diplomatically said. All right, Reagan, what would you say is your firmest conviction crypto opinion?
Oh, so outside of crypto, the element that caught my attention initially, and I am still a firm believer in, is the underlying technology and the use cases associated with that underlying technology. So payment processing, cross-border transfers. I think there's a broader institutional use case here that will benefit individuals, whether or not they even know they're transacting in crypto. And, making transacting more efficient. That is where I'm a firm believer.
Sure thing. Look, Bill Gates famously said that we tend to overestimate what we can accomplish in 2 years, overestimate what we can accomplish in 2 years, and underestimate what we can accomplish in 10. So 10 years in crypto is a long time, Reagan, but, cast your mind forward. Anything you like here, cross-border payments, crypto ecosystem, accounting, Web3, digital art. I see you've dabbled in some digital art yourself. What does it all look like in 10 years' time?
Oh, that's a really good question. I'm going to back up with a little bit of an analogy. I know people talk about the internet being comparable and we don't even know what the use cases are yet. I think that's all very true and resonates with me. Um, I think if I think back to some of the companies in Silicon Valley that originally had the iPhone and the iPod and some of that the original ideas around that type of technology and devices and pairing all the different devices together to create this thing called the iPhone. And then, Apple ends up being the one to execute well on it. I think we could see something similar happen in the crypto space where it's so energizing to see how many builders there are in the space right now with so many great ideas. Um, I don't even think we can tell, what combination of these ideas, where that will get us. So I think there's lots of good ideas right now. I think it's a matter of, you know, who can do it well at scale for mass adoption. But I mean, I think crypto and blockchain technology in general will transform, underlying like financial institutions and the way we transact. So yeah.
No doubt. All right. Another way of thinking about this, Regan, of course, is a quote by William Gibson, who said that the future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. With that in mind, can you think of an example of the future being here right now, but most people aren't aware of it?
Oh, I mean, it's really interesting. Someone was talking about how so I'm a painter myself. I do physical paintings, acrylic on canvas, and I had a friend who's not familiar with crypto at all talking about how wouldn't it be cool if you could see when and what your painting was purchased for and then where it went, maybe the person resells it at a later date. And I thought to myself, well, like the Web3 space is already doing a lot of that. And I think there's so many different use cases. There was so much hype around NFTs and, people kind of mocking it in a sense, thinking it was just a matter of transacting and trading JPEGs. But if you think about the potential with, that underlying technology, there is a world that we will live in where transactions are being recorded and there's more transparency and we're not manually tracking and recording all of these different transactions that are happening. And I thought the painting example was interesting because I do think there's a use case where if I sell a painting, maybe there's a unique transaction ID for my physical painting and that gets recorded. And I think there's just a level of transparency and efficiency and how we transact in all these different areas, beyond like fintech and, the NFT space. And we think about banks and the most recent MasterCard news and all that good stuff. But I think there's so many more use cases that people who are completely unfamiliar with crypto will eventually be using, whether or not they know that they're using it. So kind of my final take there.
Yep. And it's a good one. Thank you, Regan. Look, and it brings us nicely to our final question, which is, what is your favorite science fiction book, film, or TV show?
Oh, that's a good question. Can I just say my favorite book?
Of course.
Okay, my favorite book, which was the answer I was, my favorite book is I Am Malala. A little bit different than what you asked for there, but that is my all-time favorite book.
Okay, and you better just give us a little bit of context on what the book is and why.
I Am Malala is a book that sheds really, really great perspective on, it's perspective on, how fortunate we are and some of the challenges that we are facing here in America. And, not to make this political at all, but the book just sheds really great perspective on, a girl who couldn't even get an education growing up and she was fighting for her life and her family's life to get education. And it's an extremely eye-opening book for me because we are so fortunate here to have access to information and to be educated and to be able to go and start a company if we want to, and go to school and learn whatever it is that we want to learn. And I don't think any of this crypto stuff would be possible if we were restricted on that front. So all-time favorite book, final answer.
I love it. Very well said, and a great way to close the show. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today, Reagan. Again, just close the show by telling people where they can find you on X or anywhere else you like to hang out online. And again, tell people where they should go to learn all about what you and the team are building and the solutions you offer at TaxBit.
Yeah, taxbit.com. Check out our website. I'm on LinkedIn, also on Telegram. Feel free to reach out directly on LinkedIn. That's a great way to get in contact. Or Reagan_Cook on Telegram is great.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Reagan. All the best. And bye for now.
Thanks.